All right, we are here with the one, the only Leo Rossi, ladies and gentlemen, from Halloween 2, Bud, you probably know him best as. Leo, tell me, what was your experience like? I know you probably answered this 7,400 times today, but what was your experience like working on Halloween 2? What do you remember the most about that movie?
Well, first of all, I love that I was working, because I had just come out from New York.
Right.
So that's a big thing, working.
Right.
And I knew the first one was this cult hit. Truth be told, I think Halloween 2 is better.
Interesting, okay.
Just my opinion. What are you going to do? But Jamie Lee Curtis has become a friend, and she's a trooper. She led the charge, and we all rallied around her. Now, to sit here damn near 40 years later, it's a miracle.
It's amazing, isn't it?
We're like a family.
That's awesome.
It's all good, man.
All right. Now, one last thing before I let you go.
Sure.
You know what I'm going to ask you. Can you give me a little bit of the, just a tiny bit of the tune, subtly, maybe a bit quiet, maybe a bit intimate towards the camera?
Point. Ready?
All right, here we go.
Amazing grace, come sit on my...
Wonderful. Thank you, Leo. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McCrae here. Welcome to Friday night chat, a little Friday night chat. I thought I would play that little clip of Bud from the 40th anniversary Halloween convention. There's a number of clips I have on my channel that I was able to get while I was there. I wasn't able to speak to some of the people that I wanted to, but that was primarily because some of the lineups were just so ridiculously long that I just couldn't do it. But I wanted to pop that one up there because Bud's a funny guy. We chatted for quite a bit off camera as well, and he's he's funny. He's funny, and it was really cool to see him there, which was nice as well. And they had him sitting literally right beside, is it Pamela Shoop? Is that her name? Shoop? Something like that? I think that was her. I think that's her name. Something like that. Anyway, they had those two beside each other, which was a nice touch, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so it's Friday night, Friday, May the 10th, 2019, and tonight I wanted to sort of jump on here and talk to you guys about some of the most anticipated movies of 2019. Of course, it's already May, so some of those highly anticipated movies have come and gone, such as Us, such as Pet Sematary, such as Avengers Endgame. But we are only 5 months into the year, and there are many movies still to come that are highly anticipated. For me, I will say, some of my highly anticipated movies have yet to be released. Like, for example, Rambo 5, right? Come on. I mean, this is basically Stallone's swan song for Rambo, and if it's anything like the brutality that was Rambo from 2008, I'm really looking forward to it. Brightburn is another one that I'm really looking forward to. There's a clip online right now. If you haven't seen it, just YouTube Brightburn clip, and it'll come up, and it looks pretty fucking messed up, but in a really good way. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well. I'm also looking forward to Godzilla, which of course comes out in a couple of weeks. Toy Story 4, Child's Play, The Rise of Skywalker, The Lion King. I mean, there's just so many that are on the horizon that are going to be interesting. And those are some of the big sort of more mainstream films. There's also some movies that are sort of under the radar that are on the horizon as well, which will be really interesting to see. So I'm looking forward to them. I want to know from you guys, what are some of the most highly anticipated movies from you guys for 2019? Joanna from Canada says, Brightburn, baby. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to this. When I first heard about this, I was like, oh, this sounds like an interesting concept. And then, of course, when that first trailer dropped a number of months ago, I thought this is, if this succeeds, if this does well at the box office, if this is critically well received. And it's pretty good. Like, it's, you know, it's good. It doesn't have to knock the socks off of anybody. It doesn't have to blow the roof off of the box office. But if it does well, respectable, right? And we walk away going, that was pretty good. The door this opens for the potential of this cinematic universe in this kind of way, in terms of sort of the opposite of what you would expect from a lot of these superheroes, is really interesting to me. And it's fun. And it's always fun to, you know, play in the sandbox of evil, and it's always fun to sort of play in the environment of something that is darker and evil, and to have sort of like a evil Superman, so to speak, right? Or at least that's sort of the origin story. But what if the coin was flipped and the kid was really evil and bad? What does that mean? I mean, obviously it's not literally an evil Superman, because it's not like it's a story about Superman that turns evil. But they're using sort of the themes and the blueprint of that story to thrust this original idea sort of forward. It's kind of like, okay, well, that's sort of, now imagine this, you know, where it's kind of this, and it's this, and it's this, but it's this. And it's kind of like, that's kind of interesting. So Brightburn, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. If you guys have not checked out the Brightburn trailer, or like I said, that clip that is currently online right now on YouTube, you've got to check it out, because if you're a fan of the superhero genre, which most of you probably are, then this is at least you should at least entertain this idea. It's kind of like, it's kind of interesting. I gotta check this out. And the clip doesn't pull any punches. Like, it looks like it's brutal, you know? So if the rest of the movie is anything like this clip, I'm looking forward to it. Doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. Maybe it'll be like, it was all right. But it's definitely something that I think should be on everybody's radar. What else we got here? Christian Hafer says, my GF is looking forward to the Downton Abbey movie. I don't care. I mean, I don't care about Downton Abbey. I'm glad your girlfriend is looking forward to it. Let's see here. Cinemagic says, going cheesy old school here, I'm looking forward to Critters Attack. Yeah, Critters. You know, growing up through the 1980s, I just dropped water all over my chest here. I remember going to the video stores in the 1980s. I'm sure a lot of us do. And, sorry, water. There we go. Okay, we're good now. I remember Critters was one of those movies that I would see the cover art for, right? You know, on the box. And I would always find myself sort of, you know, gravitating towards the horror section. And just thinking back to the cover art of boxes from the 1980s, the ones that stood out to me were, like, as a kid, thinking about the cover art or the posters in the video stores at that time would be Fright Night, Evil Dead 1 and 2, Creep Show 1 and 2, Critters, the Ghoulies, not to be mistaken for the Goonies. No, the Ghoulies, those weird fucking creatures that come out of your toilet. Gremlins, Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Halloween, yes, but again, Halloween was a movie that was difficult to find. It really was. It was difficult to find. In comparison, I mean, obviously it was there, and I do recall seeing it. But yeah, those are some of the movies that I remember sort of seeing when I was walking into a video store in the 1980s. Oh, right. Steel Monkey says Joker. Yeah, Joker is another one that I'm really looking forward to. I love that it is. What I like about this is I've said this before, and again, I'm not a superhero expert, and I don't know all the ins and outs of the genre, so I don't pretend to sort of speak on behalf of fans or on behalf of sort of the intricate details of how the genre works and the mythology and the comic books. But one of the things, and I know it was a risk, and I know it was different, but it was hugely successful and it paid off. You know, Nolan setting the Batman universe in sort of a grounded real-life reality sort of take was refreshing and interesting, and it worked. Now, I understand that sort of real-world sort of narrative doesn't necessarily lend itself well to every superhero, even in the DC universe. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find, you know, a lot of the characters in this grounded sort of reality. But what was so wonderful is that it set itself apart from Marvel. And I just think that DC has been trying to play catch up for far too long, and they've been writing bad stories and dishing out bad movies, and it's just unfortunate. But what I like about Joker is that it has that gritty, real world sort of feel to it. And one of the reasons why everybody is excited about that movie is because of that. It's different. It's not the same. I mean, listen, I have not seen all 22 movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've maybe seen 3 of them, okay? But one thing that I do know is that every fucking trailer looks the same in terms of its style and visual aesthetic and impact. And to be fair, that's on purpose because it's happening in the same universe. So there is a specific style and visual aesthetic to everything because it's like it's the same story that's just continuing. So I understand that, but it's also refreshing when you get the polar opposite of that from the DC EU, right? Where it's like, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, so if we want bombastic and comic booky world over here, we go to Marvel, but if we want something gritty or real, maybe we go to DC. And I think if DC had stuck with that, I mean, what the hell do I know? I'm not a superhero expert, but something tells me that maybe that's what they should have done. They should have gone that real, because it's a nice contrast, and who knows where they'd be. I don't know. Who knows what the fuck I'm talking about? Anyway, let's see here. What do we got? It's Complicated says, Once a Time in Hollywood, the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino. I love how you said the 9th. It's like an advertisement. That's great. I love it. Yeah, I'm not a big Tarantino fan, but certainly I know that is one that is on everybody's list, and definitely one that should be interesting. Let's see here. Vampiria Kitty, am I saying that right? What do you think about the new Addams Family trailer? I didn't even see it. I didn't even know there was a new Addams Family trailer. Was there one? Is there one? Is it live action, cartoon? I'm unaware of it. Very cool. Mark Williams said, did you see the trailer for Lucy in the Sky starring Natalie Portman? Another one I'm excited for. Oh, yeah. I did a while ago, right? That trailer dropped like a little while ago. I did see that one. You know what one that looks interesting that dropped, I think it dropped today, and it looks interesting, is Judy. It is a biopic of Judy Garland, and it stars Renee Zellweger in the title role of Judy Garland. And we all know how Renee Zellweger, well, if you haven't, you will now know, she had some major plastic surgery done a few years ago that completely changed, like, the look of who she is. Funny enough, in this trailer, I kind of see Renee Zellweger there again, but there were some photos that were released, like, I don't know how long, like maybe a couple of years ago, where it was like, what the what did she do? Because Renee Zellweger, I mean, I wouldn't say that she was, you know, stereotypically classical sort of attractive. I mean, you know, or hot or something like that. But she certainly wasn't unattractive. She was cute, right? You know, and she kind of had a cuteness about her. But she changed it completely. But funny enough, in this trailer, she kind of looks like herself a bit. But that being said, if you haven't checked out the trailer for Judy, check it out. It looks interesting. I believe it comes out this fall, so obviously that's Oscar bait season, and they want to set themselves up for a lot of the Oscar baiting that will have to go on there. But it looks interesting to me. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. The Judy Garland biopic, a Judy Garland biopic at the very least, starring Renee Zellweger in the title role of Judy. Judy Garland, I mean. Zellweger was hot in Empire Record, says Ben Grimm. Yeah, I haven't seen Empire Record, or is it Empire Record or Empire Records? I think it might be plural. Anyway, I haven't seen that in years. A long time. Let's see here. Oh, we got a super chat. Almost missed that. Thank you, Mendel Goodman. Thanks for the super chat, Mendel. Appreciate it. Any opinions on the Bates Motel series? I've got none. I haven't seen it, unfortunately. I'm not, you know, again, I'm not a big TV watcher. I'm trying to get into more shows, but there's so many shows and not everything interests me. But the Bates Motel, I am aware that it exists, and but I can't say anything on it because I don't really have any opinions. So yeah, sorry about that, man. But let's see here. Manhammer AR-15 says, Dave, how would you feel if Joker ends with him auditioning for McDonald's commercials, revealing it as a Ronald McDonald origin story after all? That would be funny. That would be funny. Do you know what I would love? I would love if, because as we know, the Joker is supposed to be its own thing. The Batman is supposed to be its own thing. But I really would love it if this was the beginning of a new DCEU cinematic universe. And I know that Joaquin says that he never does sequels, but if this thing is really good, and the press on it is really good, and the critics absolutely love it, I'm telling you, man. I mean, it would be very hard not to sit there and go, I wonder if we do another one. I wonder if maybe we introduce something else. It would be very hard to do. I mean, as of right now, it is a one-off, but it would be very hard if that thing is really successful. And Joker is not $1 billion movie. I would be very surprised if Joker made $1 billion at the box office, but it could be a $500 million film. Could be. We'll see. We'll see how good it is, right? Super chat from Tommy Ricknalls. Thank you, Tommy. Much appreciated. Don't really know, Dave, but the rest of the year feels pretty flat for me. Yes, Rambo 5 is the highlight. Regardless if Star Wars will be great, it will be a trilogy with only 2 movies. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I think there's a lot of nostalgia. I mean, we're in that era now, right? You know, so I can't say that. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the movies. Oh, John Wick 3 comes out. I think it's next weekend. Is it not? Really looking forward to that one too, because I quite enjoyed the first 2 John Wick films. So I'm really looking forward to John Wick Chapter 3. So that's another one that I'm looking forward to. But other than that one and the ones that I mentioned sort of at the top of the stream, yeah, there's not, I can't say that there's not a whole lot. Like, it's not like I have like 50 that I'm looking forward to. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody that's like, oh, dude, I've got like a list of like 100 movies I'm looking for. These are my my most highly anticipated movies of the year, and there's like 100 of them. Well, you could just say that you're a movie fan then. Like, just like, you know, I mean, so you're just basically looking forward to everything. I find that shit funny. Brandon Barry, thank you for the super chat. Brandon says, are you excited for Terminator Dark Fate? I will say this, I'm more excited for Terminator Dark Fate than I am the Masters of the Universe movie coming out next year. I have little, I hate to say it, but I have little confidence in that Masters of the Universe movie. I just don't, and it has nothing to do with Sony or nothing to, but it's just, I don't know, you know, it's just, I just don't know who the directors are, not crazy on the casting of He-Man. Let's face it, I don't really like it at all. Because, look, He-Man to me is not somebody who's buff. He's somebody who's huge. That's He-Man to me. Now, maybe He-Man to you is somebody who's just buff. But you could look at somebody like a Chris Evans, right? Or a Zac Efron, right? Or a Chris Hemsworth, right? They're buff guys, right? They're really in really good shape, buff guys. Okay. But they're not big enough to be He-Man. They're big enough to be Thor. Maybe they're big enough to be Captain America. I don't know. Maybe they did take some, you know, liberties from the comics. Maybe even in the comics, they were bigger. And I'm not saying that a buff He-Man can't work. But when you think of He-Man, you think of like Arnold Schwarzenegger winning Mr. Universe in the 70s. Like, that's what you think of. You think of a guy that big because that's fucking He-Man. So, and when you look at this guy, he's 22 years old, you know, and he's like, I'm just like, you know, he's He-Boy. He's not He-Man. You know, I want He-Man. He-Man should be like in his 30s, unless this is an origin story, which we don't know yet. And they're setting us up for the whole kind of thing. I don't know. I need more information. But to answer your question about Terminator Dark Fate, I am looking forward to the movie more than that movie. But that's about it. I like who's doing it. Tim Miller, obviously he did the first Deadpool, which was really successful and really, really funny and really good. But it's not like Tim Miller has a gigantic track record for directing feature films. So, you know, I don't know. And Linda, like, is it just going to feel like, oh, God, do we really want to watch a 90-year-old Arnold and a 90-year-old Linda Hamilton, running around? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's what I will say about that. Got to see a first trailer, and we should be getting one soon. I mean, the movie comes out, November, right? So probably by July, I would expect one. I mean, when it's supposed to be a big, huge movie like that, I would say the summer is probably when we'll start seeing it. Let's see here. Trenton Thome says, scary stories to tell in the dark. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. I can't say it's highly anticipated for me because I'm not really familiar with the mythology and the history on it, and the source material, I should say. I didn't grow up with it, so I don't really know. But yeah, that is one that that definitely a lot of people are looking forward to. For some reason, the stream looks like it's a little low quality there. Sorry about that, guys. Don't know why that's doing that. Let me see here. The Film Addict says, thoughts on Beetlejuice. Also, what is your favorite Keaton line? My favorite Keaton line in Beetlejuice? I can't remember. But my favorite Keaton line of all time is, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. From the first Batman in 1989. Beetlejuice, I haven't seen Beetlejuice in a long time, so I remember liking, I think I only saw it once or twice, and I thought it was all right, but Beetlejuice wasn't one of those movies that I was really into when I was a kid. It's like Edward Scissorhands. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't one that was like on repeat in my VCR, if you know what I mean, right? So, good question, though. CJM753BC says the Godzilla film is tracking very low. It is. I heard that, I read that. About 50 to 55 million is the tracking, and a lot of people are surprised by that, but you want to know something? I'm not surprised. Now, I don't want it, I want it to do well, and it looks wonderfully entertaining and like it'll be a lot of fun. But for some reason, I'm not surprised. And I don't know if American audiences, when I say American, I'm talking about North American, okay? The first Godzilla did fine. Kong Skull Island didn't do great. And now Godzilla King of the Monsters is tracking at 50 to 55 million opening weekend, which would be a disaster. Because it's not like you go up from there, right? I mean, there's been movies that have done that, but that's like, 99.9% of the time that never happens. So if 99.9% of films make their, most of the money they're going to make on the weekends that they're out in the first weekend. And when you have a movie like Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is, sorry, I just want to see what the budget is for this movie. Yeah, it's a $200 million film, okay? And that usually doesn't factor in marketing. So, for that movie to break even, okay, it's got to make like $400 or $500 million of the box. Like once it hits like 500 million, let's say 450, 500 million, then it becomes profitable, essentially, right? So it's kind of like, oh my God. So, like it may break even, maybe, maybe it'll do really shitty here in North America, but maybe do really well elsewhere around the world, like in China and Japan, and I don't know. But I'm not surprised, because even though I'm a Godzilla fan, and you might be a Godzilla fan, and a lot of us here in the chat room might be, Godzilla in the pop culture, especially in the American pop culture, again, when I say that, I'm talking about North America, it doesn't, the 98 film, which I saw in the theater, didn't do very well. It wasn't really a good movie, but it didn't do really well, right? And it doesn't, Godzilla's had problems making an impact in this market. And so, look, 55 million opening weekend for your average movie is fucking phenomenal. But for a movie that cost 200 million to make, and something like a Godzilla movie with all these, that is the poster child for a summer blockbuster, this movie should be making, I would expect, at least double that. At least double that. If Godzilla King of the Monsters can walk away with $100 million opening or $120 million opening, I think they would be very pleased. They're not going to make it. It's not a $200 million opening film, but yeah, I feel that although that is surprising at face value, it kind of doesn't surprise me because I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of buzz, but it's not the buzz you would expect. You know, like in the bigger picture. I mean, right? It's kind of like, you know, you don't see a lot of people talking about it. You know, you don't see a lot of focus on it. You know, it just kind of, people seem to talk about it when something drops, right? Like a trailer or a poster or something, but not everybody's, it's not like there's that that high anticipation, right? There's not high anticipation. I don't know. And then of course, what does that mean for King Kong versus Godzilla next year? Because that movie is done and shot. They're in post-production on it right now. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Keep my finger. I'm going to go see it because I'm a big Godzilla fan. I'm going to go see it. You're going to go see it. But I don't know if, you know, I guess we're just going to have to go see it 9 million times to to help it make some cash. Let's hope that the projections are a little off, let's say. Let's see here. Dahlia Williams says, I loved your last video on It Chapter 2. It made me laugh so much. Are you talking about the little, the horny old woman? Are you talking about that? Yeah, that was just a spur of the moment idea I had. And that's not even like, that was just quick out of the gate. If I really wanted to make it sound great, I would have actually mixed it better to make it sound like my voice was actually in the space. Because right now you can, if you know what to listen for, if your ears are trained, you can certainly tell that my voice is, even though it's mixed well against the rest of the audio, certainly it doesn't really sound like I'm actually in the environment, right? And that's only because it was a quick job that I was doing. So if I wanted to take more time, I probably could have made it sound a bit better. But for what it is, I think it's kind of funny. And there's a few times that I've actually laughed at myself while I was putting it together because it's just so absurd, right? You know, like that boom shakalaka laka boom shakalaka. It just, I did that because it was funny to me because the way she shuffled across the floor the very first time I watched that trailer, and I have to admit, you know, I kind of laughed, you know. I'm really looking forward to it. It Chapter 2, I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the stream. It Chapter 2 is definitely one of my highly anticipated movies of the year, but that was funny. Like when she went across the, you know, it's creepy. It's really creepy, but it was kind of funny. And that's why I did that little moment there. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go watch the last video that I posted before this live stream. It's only 1 minute and 20 seconds long, and I'm just having some fun with the old lady in the It Chapter 2 trailer, let's say. Okay, super chat from PC Pierce. Thank you, PC. Peace. Dave, how much does smoking affect your acting? Well, I don't smoke, so I don't have any purse. See what happened there? I don't have any first-hand knowledge of that, but it definitely would. Oh yeah, for sure. I know people who are voice actors who do smoke, and can absolutely affect, especially if you're a heavy smoker, and the phlegm and the mucus that can get in there, and if you have a cough, and you know, oh yeah, it's bad, and it's not the reason why I don't smoke. Excuse me. I just never have. I never had an interest for it, but definitely if I was a smoker, that would affect my voice big time. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Let's see here. The artisan says, oh, he's talking to somebody else. Okay. I'll let you guys have your conversation. Alan Wilson says, what is your take on the live action Disney films coming out? Well, you know what? It's a natural progression. And I think because of the technology, I think somewhere a while ago, somebody said, you know what? The technology is expanding exponentially, right? And we're at a point now where this is, you know, we can start to imagine these fairy tales and these stories, but live action. Because at the end of the day, even though a lot of these films, whether it's Dumbo, whether it's The Lion King, whether it's Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Aladdin, Snow White, which I'm sure they'll eventually do, you know, at the core of these incredible animated films is a great story. And that's one thing they have. Now, some are better than others, and you might like some over others, but at the end of the day, they're wonderful stories. They're timeless, right? About love and loss, about heart, about, you know, never giving up. I mean, they always tap into the sort of overall bigger picture of the human spirit and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And so that, realized as a live action, I think if you can do it, why not? I mean, because at the end of the day, as they say in sports, winning solves everything. So if you can make a good movie, no matter how much the backlash is, right?
I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking, I don't want you fucking sick of it. I'm fucking, you're so sick of my boss, sick of the fuck.
No matter if that's what you're getting, if you make a great movie or just a good movie, again, it doesn't have to be amazing, but if you can make a movie that's like, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was good. Then you've won, you know, and it all comes down to story. Because the technology now lends itself to bring a lot of these fantastical things that we see in the animated films to life in live action through computer technology. I think it can be fun. And I understand there's just, oh, it's ruining my childhood. It's ruining my childhood. It's ruining my childhood. It's not ruining your childhood, okay? But I understand why people use that phrase. I just think it's overused. But I'm okay with it. As long as it's done well, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to like some over others. Like we might like Aladdin over The Lion King, or like The Lion King over Aladdin. We're like, Aladdin was okay, you know, but it's going to touch somebody, you know, and there's going to be, you know, a lot of the times too, you have to remember that a lot of young kids are being introduced to these worlds for the very first time, and how back in 1994 when The Lion King came out, I was 15. And I didn't see it in the movie theater. I actually saw it on VHS. But, you know, a lot of young kids were introduced to that world in the 90s. Well, there's a lot of young kids today who will be introduced to that world with The Lion King coming out this summer. And, you know, stories have been told over and over again for millennia. Okay? There are very rarely new stories. There's just new ways to tell them. Okay, let's see here. Stuart Johnson says, Dave, have you seen the new Pet Sematary? I really enjoyed it. No, I haven't seen it yet. It's not one I'm rushing out to see. I'll catch it on streaming when it comes to Netflix. I thought it looked okay when I saw the trailer, but I was like, nah. You know, and I've heard mixed things about it, which doesn't surprise me. Let's see here. Let's scroll back here. Did I miss a super chat? I did. Frank Riker. Thanks, buddy. Do you think a Terminator versus Robocop would be successful? Yeah. Do I think a Terminator versus Robocop would be successful? I don't know. I mean, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it all comes down... Do I think a Terminator versus Robocop is a good idea? I think is a better question. And the answer to that is no, because I'm not a big fan of crossing universes. Like, I didn't even like Alien versus Predator. It just felt awkward to me. I was like, why are these people living in the same... Like, just, no, we don't need that. And look how that ended up. So, I don't think so. I think Robocop is sort of... obviously, there was a Robocop a few years back now with Colin Farrell that was shot here in Toronto. I knew a couple of PAs that worked on it actually, and that didn't do great. So, you know, just to kind of all of a sudden do a Robocop versus Terminator, I think is kind of like, are we asking for that? You know, would it be cool? Maybe, but then do a fan film. There's one thing that Tony Michael, who I do the Two Dudes and Some Bullshit with, he said this, and he's actually, you know, he's not wrong. He's right, that a lot of the fantastical things that you see, if you are able to do it, and sometimes it takes a bit of money, you know, but there are some pretty good fan films out there. And if you want to cross universes or you want to do some fun shit, maybe it just belongs in a fan film, like you know, an Imagine This. But to actually take the time to spend millions of dollars to put something like that together when nobody's asking for it, I just don't care. But maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, because I don't like crossing universes anyway. Because I think once you start to do that, then it's kind of like, what does that mean for the, like, it makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me. I think they should be their own thing. So would it be successful? It could be, but right now I don't see it, because I don't think anybody's asking for it. I mean, really, at the end of the day, Frank, they got to get over this new Terminator hump, because the last several Terminator films have not done well. So if this Terminator film does really well, and then maybe they do a Robocop again and it does really well, well, maybe you think about it. But as of right now, no. Let's see here. Let's get somebody I haven't got yet. Neil Rook says, voice acting and motion capture in video games produce some fantastic performances from the actors in them. Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. Thoughts on that, Dave? Yes, they do. I know a few people in Los Angeles who do the mocap, and it's a hell of a thing. Actually, the guy that won the Voice Arts Awards in my category, who I was up against, there was 5 people in our category. He lives out in LA, and he does a lot of mocap and a lot of stuff for games. I should ask him what games he's done. I should do that. Yeah, he's done a lot of shit, and maybe I could. Oh, you've kind of sprung a few ideas in me. Maybe I could bring him on as a guest. Maybe he'd be a great guy to talk to, because I don't have any experience with the motion capture. I know how it works, but I haven't done it myself. So he's done a lot of it, and yeah, and it's, the technology is amazing. That's what's so amazing about Avatar 2 right now. And I'm not somebody that hates on Avatar. I'm not one of those people, and I find it hilarious that there are a lot of people that do hate on Avatar. And one of the things I hear is because of its lack of originality. And it's ironic that this is coming from the same people who will watch tons of horror sequels where there's no originality. But anyway, James Cameron's a genius, and he's a technological genius. And Avatar's story that has been told before never bothered me, because it was never told in this way. The story of Star Wars, the fundamental foundation of what that story is about, has been told for millennia. It just was never told in that way. Nobody saw anything like this in terms of the special effects and this and that. Oh my God! And these, who is this guy? And the spaceship and all that. But the root of the narrative has been told many times over. The hero's journey is nothing new, and it was just never told in that way. So when Avatar, you know,
It's just Ferngully in space. It just dances with wolves. It's just Pocahontas. It's just...
yeah, and Pocahontas is just dances with wolves, and Ferngully is just dances with wolves, which is just but nobody's, it's only because it became the highest grossing movie of all time, and somehow people seem to think that, anyway, it's a whole other fucking thing I don't want to get into, but it never bothered me. Because it was told in a magnificent way, and it was an experience, and the technology that was used in James Cameron's Avatar in 2009 did not exist before Avatar, and now that technology is being used all over the place, including all of the Marvel films and all that kind of jazz. And James Cameron is looking to do it again. And what's interesting is, I talked about this on the Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, but he is actually, what he's doing, and one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why it's taken so long, is because he's inventing technology that currently does not exist. And one of the areas is motion capture. One of the things that they have not, that Cameron is doing with Avatar 2 is he is actually shooting underwater sequences with the actors actually underwater. He's not green screening that shit. He's actually shooting underwater sequences with the actors underwater with motion capture. And motion capture underwater has never been achieved, and it was very difficult to do because of the way the light moves through the water and the, you know, ripples of the waves. And it was just, it was nearly impossible. It was just very hard. Well, James Cameron says that he believes they've cracked it. And he's been able to actually capture real, like, hyper-realism motion capture underwater, which is fucking amazing. Another piece of technology that he's talking about, some of you may know, this is not confirmed that this is what Avatar 2 will be, so let me just say that. He's not saying that, but one of the things that he has been looking into over the last number of years is 3D without glasses. So you can go to the movie theater, watch a movie in 3D, but you don't have to put glasses on. Oh my God. Like, I mean, that's unbelievable. And if he does do that, hypothetically, that technology, including the motion capture technology, will be used in movies for years to come. So, you know, there's more to Avatar than just, oh, it's just a story and this, oh, well, everybody just went to see it because it was 3D. Well, yeah, but yes, that's right. That's right. And people went to see Star Wars because nobody had ever seen anything like it before, right? And it was like, oh my God, holy shit, we've never seen anything like this. So anyway, I don't understand the hate that Avatar gets. I mean, I understand it, but I just think it's a little juvenile to me because the main argument is it's not original. And I just think, yeah, but nothing's original. It's just in how you tell it, you know, and you've just proved your point by making the argument. Well, Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas, Fern Gully. Well, those three films all share similar themes, and you're not complaining that they're not like each other, or they're too, you know, similar amongst each other, are you? You're not. So, I mean, why are you? Because Avatar was so big. And because it's so big and loud, people like to tear it down. And I get it. I understand it. But for me, I think it's I think it was a wonderful achievement, and I think we should tip our hat to it, because without Avatar, you might not have, there's a lot of the technology they're using now that we may not have. So at least not yet, right? So I'm excited for it. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. Doesn't mean it's going to be a $2 billion film, but certainly you never count James Cameron out. So yeah, anyways, that was a roundabout whole thing, but you guys know me and I like to be thorough. So motion capture is really cool, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with Avatar 2. Let's see here. Corey Dean says, do you like Game of Thrones? I don't not like Game of Thrones. I've just never watched it because I'm not really interested in medieval. I don't gravitate towards that stuff. It's just not of my interest. I just don't really care about it. You know how there's some things that people are like, oh yeah, and you're like, yeah, I just don't really, yeah. That's me with Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, things like that. Mohammed Camber says, Dave, which version of Rob Zombie's Halloween have you seen? I've seen both of them. Oh, which version of Rob Zombie's first Halloween have I seen? I think I've seen two. I've seen the theatrical version that is known, and I've seen the version that was a rough cut, essentially, that was released before the theatrical cut, which is weird, because I'm pretty sure I know I did. I saw that version, the version where it had the Monster Mash in the beginning and where the credits are displayed are in a different location completely. You see the Halloween title when little Myers is running down the hallway, and it's a freeze frame. I saw that in the movie theater. And it was, sorry, hang on, let me just go over here. It was not, it's weird because, sorry, I was looking at something here. Yeah. Wait a minute. There we go. It was weird because apparently that wasn't the one that was released in theaters. So very strange indeed. But I have seen those two. Grave Warmer says, hey Dave, did you find the It trailer was more humorous than it was suspenseful? By the way, the video you posted earlier was gold. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Glad you liked it. No, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good trailer. Yep. I thought it was fine. And I'm looking forward to seeing sort of how it all plays out, because as you know, I'm a fan of it. I liked it, but I wasn't, I think it could have been, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good, but I think it could have even been darker. So I'm really looking forward to see how dark they go with this one. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get one that's about an anticipated film coming out this year. Let me see. I'm just looking to see if I can find Any new stuff? Ba-ba-ba-ba. I love your little emojis. I love the shit emojis, Savage One. The original Halloween was the only good one. The rest were absolute dog shit. Savage One has spoken. The hell? Let's see. It's Complicated says, hey Dave, are you still working on the H-18 sequel? The H-18 sequel. I'd love to be working on the H-18 sequel. Oh, you mean the sequel idea? Yep, I am. Absolutely. That guy's, oh, that guy. Shit, that guy is in the chat room. Sonic looks pretty bad. You know what? I think he should look like, I think he should look like more like the actual character from the video game. But what the fuck do people expect? It's a video game about it's a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog. What are people expecting? I played Sonic the Hedgehog back in the early 90s. I had a Sega Genesis. I remember playing it a lot. I looked at the trailer, and other than Sonic looking a little, I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's a kid's movie. It's what it is. It's a kid's movie. Okay, and then people like me that are 40 and older will probably go see it just to go, oh, Sonic, I remember that. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking kid's movie, man. And I understand people are really emotionally attached to their characters, but I thought the trailer looked like what I would expect from a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Now, Sonic could look better. I agree. But the rest of the trailer looks like what I would expect. Like if they said, yeah, we're making another Super Mario film. What do you expect? The game itself is weird and crazy and woo, and ding, 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 it's not going to be the Dark Knight. It's not going to be this, Sonic the Hedgehog, man. Fuck, was amazing. Did you see fucking Sonic? Did you see fucking Sonic the Hedgehog? Holy shit, dude. It was fucking rad. What is this, 1988? But you know what I mean, right? It's just like, yeah, it's a goofy, funny Sonic the Hedgehog film. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe my expectations are not as high as some, but I just don't know. I saw the visceral, Sonic, and I was like, dude, it's Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's like, what do you expect? It's like saying, yeah, they're, they're making they're making a Yoshi, video or, film. It's like, what do you, anyway. Okay. Let's see here. What do we got? William Talbot says, movies nowadays are just making fun of good old movies from the day. Too many remakes that no one really cares for. Well, if no one really cares for them, they wouldn't make money. And unfortunately, they make money, which means people care for them. I've learned, and I'm not speaking about anybody personally in the chat room. I'm just talking objectively. Ever since I started to put my face out there on this channel, and I started to myself step away from being behind the mic and out of sight and sort of in front of the mic, in front of the camera, and kind of dipping my toe into the broader fandom community, I've noticed, there's a lot of things I've noticed, you guys know me, but one of the things I've noticed is that what fans say and what they do are very different.
I fucking hated The Last Jedi. It was fucking shit. It was dog shit. Hey, it's on sale today. I'm getting the 4K, man.
Why you buying it?
Well, I'm a completist. I gotta have everything.
You're giving them money. Oh, why are you buying it? I hated The Last Jedi. And you know what? I don't have it. I don't own it. I don't care about it. Like The Force Awakens, so I bought it. And now I'm not saying that you're not allowed to go do that, but if you really do not care for these remakes that are coming out, if you're somebody that said, I don't care, fuck, I hate all these remakes, don't go see them. Put your money where your mouth is and don't go see them. Because that is the only way that you will be able to speak. And look what happened to Solo. Now, Solo, I thought, was a good movie. I didn't think it was as good as The Force Awakens, and I certainly don't think it's a great Star Wars movie. And maybe coming off TLJ, that kind of helped, right? Because you have that contrast there. But I thought it was all right. It was a movie nobody was asking for, but that doesn't mean because nobody was asking for it that the movie wasn't pretty good, right? It was fine. But the movie didn't. Now, one of the reasons why the movie also didn't do very well is because they basically shot the movie twice. Well, that doesn't help when you have to make $400 million just to break even. Or 500 million, which they could not do. So, it might even been more than that. But anyway, so people spoke. Look what happened. Do you honestly think that Rian Johnson, who I've heard through the grapevine, the online grapevine, it's not, I haven't heard from anybody I know, but I've read, I should say, that that his Star Wars trilogy might be out. Well, we knew that. Well, why do you think that is? The movie was really successful, right? It was really successful. Made $1.3 billion at the box office. But the visceral backlash of it, he's a liability. I mean, how can you market that movie? From the director of The Last Jedi. Are you kidding me? That's not how you're going to market it. Can you imagine? From the director of The Last Jedi comes up on the screen. Oh, fuck. Of course they're not going to say that. Now, they could just not do it at all. But with today's, landscape, I mean, people are going to know what movie he's directed. So he's a liability. So, anyway, the point I'm making is that fans have more power than they think. The problem is that they really do want to see it. It's exciting for them to see their childhood, the nostalgia, even though they think so. Like, there are a lot of people right now that think The Lion King is ruining their childhood, and those same people will go see it. 100%. Is it unrealistic for me to expect everybody who says that to just not go see it? Yes, of course. I understand that. It's like saying, fuck, the gas is so fucking high, man. Well, then don't go to the gas. Well, I got to pay for it. I got to drive, right? You got to have fun in life. You got to go to the movies and have fun. You got to hang out with your friends and go, and maybe your buddy wants to go see it and you want to hang out with your friends. So you go see it too. I mean, there's a multitude of factors, but basically what I'm trying to say here, William, is my expectations for there are a lot of original films that do get released. The problem is that nobody cares for those because we want to be entertained. We want to have an emotional, moving experience, whether that's thrills, chills, sadness, excitement, whatever it is. And right now, those are in the big blockbuster films. But you know what? If people are sick and tired of the nostalgia, don't go see it. Don't go see it. That's what I got to say to that. Oh, yeah, Manhammer. AR15 says, Dr. Sleep. Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Dr. Sleep. Excited about that one, for sure. Let's see here. The Artisan. Oh, he's talking to Frank Riker. Frank Riker's a good dude. He's a good dude. Anthony Wall says, Dave, it looks like your lips look off the movement of the screen. Oh, really? They do? Oh, that's not good. I wonder why that is. Let's see here. Maybe that could be... Let's see if I go in here and maybe do... let's see if this helps. I don't know if it's going to help. But let's see if it helps. Oh, wait a minute. Did that help? Maybe it helped. I don't know. That kind of sucks. Sorry about that, guys. If it might be out of my control, it might be a connection issue. Hopefully it's not too bad. Sometimes these things happen. K316, thank you for the super chat. K316 says, hey Dave, maybe you should do an H18 sequel fan film with your buddy Bruce to show your point of view on how it should be done. You know what? That's not a bad idea. It all comes down to time. It all comes down to time and being able to actually do it properly, because now that there already has been a story that's been set, to actually then do a fan film that's taken off from that, you want to be able to do it justice. So that means I would have to cast an Allison, cast a Lori, cast a Karen. And that takes a lot of time. And it's not just something you can shoot on a weekend or just shoot with me and Bruce like we did with Haddonfield Reaper, which is on my channel. And it's certainly not something I necessarily want to shoot on my phone. So good idea, but takes a lot. Chris Hurley says, Dave, will you ever make any more fan Halloween films? Oh, yeah, sure. Eventually. Yep. I want to make one with that mask up there, the Halloween 2 mask. Kind of like what I did with the H18 mask. But we'll see. All right. You are synced up on my end, Tony Cosgrove says. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm glad I am. You know what? Everybody's experiencing the connections differently, right? Maybe it's a connection on your end. Maybe it's your Wi-Fi. Maybe it's how I'm coming through to you. It might not be on my end. So thank you, Tony, for saying that. Apparently I'm synced up on his end, so that's good. Kyle Sanford says, thoughts on Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely one I want to check out. It's on Netflix now. So comment, guys. What are some of the highly anticipated movies that you're looking for? Looking forward to this year. Just type them in there. I'm looking forward to It Chapter 2, Godzilla, John Wick 3, Rambo 5, Lion King, what else? Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, Joker. Definitely looking forward to those as well. Midsummer, Tony Cosgrove, right out of left field. Tony Cosgrove in with the body slam. Midsummer, yes. Definitely looking forward to that one. That's being released by A24. That's directed by the same guy, folks, that did Hereditary. And it looks like it's another sort of cult kind of movie. But because I enjoyed Hereditary so much, and it was one of my favorite movies last year, the layers in that movie were fantastic. Tony, Michael, and I have done a Two Dudes and Some Bullshit podcast all on Hereditary. It's on my channel now. Check it out if you want to. I'm looking forward to this because I was very impressed with what he did with Hereditary. Now, again, that doesn't mean that Midsummer won't be bad. Maybe it will be. But yes, that comes out, I think, July, right? Or something like that. Child's Play, I'm looking forward to Child's Play as well. But that's not high on my list. I'm still cautiously optimistic with that one. Rocket Man. Oh, yeah, the Elton John biopic. Yeah, Rocket Man. That's great. The new Annabelle movie. Critters Attack. Have you seen the new trailer for it? I did. It looks fun. Looks B-movie fun. What else are people saying here? Zombieland 2. Yeah, that does come out. Ma. Oh, Ma. That's right. Yeah, with Octavia Spencer. Octavia? Am I saying that right? Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Is there a trailer for that yet? Is there a trailer for Ma yet? Because that looks really, or sounds really interesting. I gotta watch that. Brightburn, yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Yep, Brightburn for sure is on my list. Toy Story 4 as well. Yeah, there's quite. I probably have about a 10 or 15, top 10 or 15 that are probably on my most anticipated list, and then there's probably some honorable mentions in there as well. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like you guys are all in the same kind of ballpark. Child's Play, Zombieland 2, Midsummer, Brightburn, Rocket Man, Rambo, Critters Attack, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Fascinating. So these are like okay, so what I want you guys to do now, maybe you've already done it, out of all the most highly anticipated movies coming out this year, type in right now the number one most highly anticipated movie you have. The number one. Okay? It might be hard to pick. But the number one. Oh, The Irishman, Stuart Johnson, out of the left field. That's right. The Irishman, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Joe fucking Pesci, directed by Martin Scorsese. Oh man, am I looking forward to that. Forgot about that one. Thank you so much. Okay, so here are some of the people's most highly anticipated. Savage One says John Wick 3. CJM753BC says SW. I'm assuming means Star Wars. Vampiria Kitty says It. Neil Rook says Spider-Man. The Film Addict, Joker. Brent Broomberg says Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell. That's his most highly anticipated, folks. Joanna from Canada, Star Wars Episode 9. That guy says Godzilla King of the Monsters. That guy. Do you know that guy? He's in the chat room. Oppo A3S says 2020. 2020? Is that a movie or is that a year? DJ Max says Hobbs and Shaw. DJ Max, most highly anticipated fucking movie is Hobbs and Shaw, folks. Mark Williams says Joker. So does Daniel Newbegin. John Melancholy says Child's Play. Sorry, Woody. Chucky's our new buddy. Hey, Did you just make that up, or is that an actual tagline? Because that would be good. Christian Hafer says Toy Story 4, maybe. Well, you got to make up your mind, Christian. It either is or it isn't. There is no maybe. It's do or do not. There is no try. Justin Valdura says, It Chapter 2. Eric Simon says, Terminator Dark Fate. My daughter's father. My daughter's father? I don't have a daughter. But if I had a daughter and she had a father, it would be me. I think. Did I say that right? I don't know. But he says Brightburn. The J. Hookmaster says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, his most highly anticipated movie of the year. DJ Mac, Ma movie. Ma movie. Your movie or my movie? Oh, the Ma movie, not Ma movie, not my movie. Okay, I got it. Chris Hurley, Rambo, General Custer, 1825, Joker, Tommy Ricknell, Shaft. Really? There's a new Shaft movie coming this year? I didn't know about that. Woo! Listen to that list. Eric Simon, Terminator Dark Fate. I think I already said that. Man, listen, everybody's just a lot of variety there as well. Isn't that interesting, eh? To be able to actually get you guys to type in your most highly anticipated movie of the year. And look what's coming down the pipe here. Crawl's in there. John Wick 3. Sonic the Hedgehog, anyone? Sonic the Hedgehog? That's what Mark Williams is saying. Mark Warling says 47 meters down, uncaged. Uncaged. That is funny. Uncaged. Oh, man. William Talbot, Godzilla. Tabitha Short is in the house. Dave, I think you drank too much chocolate milk. I see what you did there, you son of a... Straight vodka, ladies and gentlemen. Straight vodka. No, let's see. Manhammer, Dora the Explorer. And I think you guys are just jostling me now. You're jostling me. Sharknado 38. What about Sharknado 146? Very cool. Verisimilitude says, It Chapter 2. Yeah, that's awesome to see sort of where everybody is at. I would say I would probably say my most highly anticipated movie of the year for me would probably be Star Wars Episode 9. But that's not because it is the most anticipated movie of the year. I mean, it's not really. And The Last Jedi took a lot of wind out of those sails. But for me, it's the most highly anticipated, but it's by a hair, really, at the end of the day. I think next in line for me would probably be, after Star Wars Episode 9, maybe Godzilla, then maybe Brightburn. I don't know. It's tricky to say. The Rise of Skywalker, yes, because I think deep down I'm just hoping that, in JJ I trust, and that he can salvage something to give us some sort of, look, there's only so much that JJ is going to be able to do. He cannot retcon everything that Johnson did, because that's not what you do. He has to play with the cards that he was dealt. But like you've heard me say a million times, he's not happy about what Rian did. But I think where he can alter the script, where he can make some adjustments and kind of use the excuse of, but there's actually more to the story, right? Because you heard him say that at Star Wars Celebration. Well, there's this, that, and the other, but let's just say there's more to the story. Well, that's his way of saying, what the fuck did you do? Shit. Okay. Hang on. Okay. And then he's got to kind of, Rey doesn't have parents, but, well, yes, Luke is dead, and he did die, but, right? You know what I mean? It's like, well, yes, it is, Snoke is gone, and we, but, there, well, actually, you see what? That's what he's doing. He's completing everything, and it's going to be full of fan service. It's going to be, like he said, he's not just ending 3 movies, he's ending 9 movies, and doesn't mean the movie's going to be good, but if it can be better than The Last Jedi, which I think it will be, we'll see. We'll see once more information comes out at Comic-Con this summer. But anyway, that probably would be my most anticipated. But if The Last Jedi had been really good, The Rise of Skywalker would not only be my most anticipated movie of the year, and not just by a hair, it would be one of everybody's most anticipated movies of the year by a long shot, if The Last Jedi had been actually good. Okay, let's see here. Chris Hurley says, thoughts on Palpatine in the trailer? Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm not like most people that thinks that Palpatine is literally back, like he is the big baddie in the movie. I think he's back, but he's back in not necessarily the literal sense, like he actually survived the fall, or he was able to cheat death and come back to life. I don't know if it's going to be that much on the nose. I think Palpatine's laugh at the end was more of a symbolic representation of, yes, he's back, but this is how he's back. It's more of the symbolic representation that maybe he, Palpatine, in some sort of form, has been actually behind everything the whole time. But how they utilize him, you know, they could have him as a spirit. They could have him as a Sith ghost. They could have, like, there's so many ways they could utilize him. And maybe he's not realized or utilized necessarily till, say, the last act of the movie, but it's amazing, right? Like, it's kind of like, maybe it's like Avengers Endgame, where it's like the first 2 hours are like, you know, but that last hour is like, holy fucking shit. I mean, maybe that's what happens here, right? And that's when Palpatine comes back, however he comes back. So I know there are a lot of people that are taking it literally, that, oh, he's just back. He's back. He's back. I don't know if it's that much on the nose. He is back, but it's how he's back and how he's going to be utilized that is yet to be seen. And I see the laugh as, yes, meaning he's back, but it's more of a symbolic representation of sort of the bigger evil at stake. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Was there a super chat that I missed? I think there might have been. Did I miss a super chat? I thought I did. Oh, I did. Tony Cosgrove. He was just donating. Thanks, Tony. Much appreciated, buddy. Okay. Always like to get those super chats. Let's see here. Hate when I miss them too, because I feel bad. Because it's happened a couple times. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see it, because the thing's going by so quick, and I like to be so thorough. Chris Baber, thank you for the super chat, Chris. Much appreciated. Thoughts on Zombieland 2 coming in October? You know, the first Zombieland was actually kind of fun. I'm not a big zombie guy. I mean, I like your staples, like your Night of the Living Dead, your Dawn of the Dead. I like the Dawn of the Dead remake, but I'm not a huge zombie fan. I think one of my favorite zombie movies really is 28 Days Later. I saw that movie in the theater, and that was like, I was so impressed when it came out, and how they were able to shoot and make it look like, and shoot on location and make it look like a legitimate apocalyptic, nobody's fucking here in the world. Now it's easier to do, but back when that movie came out in 2000 and, what was that, 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there, that was impressive. So, I wouldn't say Zombieland 2, Chris, is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I wouldn't say that it's one that I'm excited about, but if I'll catch it, you know, if it winds up on Netflix or whatever, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll catch this, you know, Sunday afternoon, rainy day kind of thing. That's how I feel about it. Let's see here. Okay, Troy says, hey Dave, have you ever played Dead by Daylight? They're going to be adding Ghostface soon. I have not. Have I played Dead by, oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about, that Redemption one, the Dead, whatever it is. Dead by Daylight. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. They're going to be adding Ghostface soon. Cool. Well, I look forward to checking that out. Fuck, man. I'm telling you, I have a video on my channel where I talk about what I think they need to do with an open world Halloween game. It's never going to happen, but it's a fucking great idea. If you guys haven't checked out that video, YouTube Dave McRae Halloween game or something. It'll probably be the first one that pops up. Oh, this is a good question. Mark Warling, Dave, what are your top 3 characters in Star Wars? Han Solo, Darth Vader, and Han Solo, Darth Vader. I want to say Luke, but It's either Luke or Yoda, maybe. Maybe Yoda. Obi-Wan I like too. I like Obi-Wan. It's tough. It's a toss-up on that third one. Maybe it's Salacious B. Crumb. I want to get a Salacious B. Crumb puppet. If anybody knows anybody who has a Salacious B. Crumb puppet, that I could get, I want to get one and have him here like this and have him just, every time I tell a joke, he just laughs. That's what I want. I want that. Okay. Let's see here. That guy says the people that made the F-13 game are making a Predator game. Yes, so I heard. Let's see here. Michael Anderson says Arnold Schwarzenegger best movie. Ooh, yeah. Arnold's best movie. Come on, cookies. Those are my cookies. I'm gonna say his best movie. I think. Yeah, he had some good ones. I mean, True Lies. I think his best movie in terms of Arnold Schwarzenegger. When we think of Arnold, I'm actually not going to say Terminator or Terminator 2 because he's a Terminator and he does. Although I got to say, I mean, that is a great. Yeah, okay. Probably Terminator 2 is probably the poster child for an Arnold movie. But I think Predator is up there too. I think your top Arnold movies in terms of action star Arnold would be True Lies, Predator, the first two Terminator movies, Commando lesser so. Yeah, that's what I'd say to that. I like The Sixth Day too. I thought The Sixth Day was pretty good. Let's see. Lando, Yoda, and Obi-Wan. Lando's a good one. He's suave. Jingle all the way. That's right. There's always room for. I think that's the one where he's like, cookies. Those are my. Put those cookies down. I think that's the one where he says that. I think that's where he says that. Hey, come on. That's what everybody does when they want to talk like Arnold. Have you noticed that? I can't do Arnold, but there's some guys that can really actually talk and sound like him. But the go-to for Arnold's always, come on. That's what everybody does. Kindergarten Cop's, yeah, well, that's a good movie, but that's not like your action classic Arnold. But I like Kindergarten Cop. That was good too. Okay, let's see. The Film Addict says, do you think Chris Hemsworth is a right choice to play Hulk Hogan? Also, do you think they should have done an Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, or Chris Benoit biopic instead? I think Hulk Hogan's a good biopic to do, but I think if you're going to do it, you got to tell it. You know, and Chris Hemsworth, Hulk Hogan, he's not big enough. It's the same. Look, Chris Hemsworth, yeah, he's a good-looking guy. He's a buff guy. Hulk Hogan, in his heyday, I don't know how tall Chris Hemsworth is, but anyway, Hogan was about 6'5", okay? Now, he was billed as like 6'8", and maybe in his boots he might have been 6'6" or something. He's a big guy. He was massive. He would crush Chris Hemsworth. So I gotta believe that this is Hulk Hogan. I can't just see a buff guy with long blonde hair and a handlebar mustache. I gotta believe that this is Look at Hulk Hogan in the 70s. Look at him. He's gigantic. Chris Hemsworth comes nowhere close to that. So, doesn't mean he's not going to pull it off. But I just don't understand. But I do understand from a business perspective. But I got to be able to buy it at the end of the day. Andre would be good. I don't think Ric Flair would sell to the masses. I think Andre would, and I think Hogan would. Ric Flair definitely would. And I think Ric Flair and Chris Benoit lesser so. I think if you were to ask a general somebody on the street, do you know who Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant was? They'd say yes. 90% of the people say yes. If you go up to somebody and say, do you know who Ric Flair is? I think that percentage drops. I think if you go up to just somebody random on the street and ask, do you know who Chris Benoit is? That drops even further. So I think Hogan or Andre would probably be your first choice because there's more of a mass appeal there. Super chat from Frank Riker. Thank you, Frank. Best makeup artist, Winston, Baker, or Savani? Well, it's hard to say, Frank. I mean, I think the most impact in a big scale, I think you probably have to go with Winston. If you want to talk about horror, then I think maybe you want to go with kind of narrowing it down a bit further. But Winston, I mean, worked on so much, so many different genres. And not that the other guys haven't dabbled, but there's they've sort of been very niche, from what I know. Whereas, I mean, Winston is he's done so much. So I think you could make an argument for Winston probably. But Savini, I guess. Savani? No. Savini. Yeah. And Baker. Yeah, Baker's good too, but I don't know. Winston seemed to sort of penetrate that pop culture consciousness a bit more than the other guys. I think anyway. At least that's how I see it. Sean Smith says the original Conan was pretty epic when I was a kid. The Predator was pretty flawless though. Total Recall has an honorable Total Recall. Forgot about that one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Total Recall. That was good. I like that movie a lot. Yeah, that's another classic. And The Running Man was another good one. Yeah, there's some good ones. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Manhammer AR-15 says Stone Cold biopic. Sure, but you have to understand that WWE wrestling, it's big, it's still big, but it's very niche. So a Stone Cold biopic is not necessarily something you're going to... That's why the Hogan biopic is going straight to streaming. Because it's not something that you're going to spend a lot of money on, and it's not going to make a lot of money. So, I don't know. Do people want a Stone Cold biopic? I don't know. I actually would rather just... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's one. I think the Rock is somebody that would have more mass appeal, right? Because of what he's able to do with his career. And how The Rock is arguably the most... I think he is. He's not arguably. He is the most successful wrestler to ever make the transition into movies in history. So, there you go. Verisimilitude says Dave isn't into crossover movies. Oh, somebody must have asked something. I didn't see it. That guy says The Expendables. Yeah, well, The Expendables was fun. I wouldn't say it was a classic Arnold, because that's more of a Stallone movie, even though Arnold was in them all. I think that was fun, though. It's too bad the third movie was rated PG-13. I didn't hate it, but it's too bad because that actually could have been... It was fun. It was fun to finally see some of these guys in movies together. Because way back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Arnold and Sly were in their heyday, it would have cost way too much money to get them in a movie to get, like, you'd be paying half, if like probably about $40 million would just be going to paying them, and now you have to keep in mind that back then that was a lot, because most movies back then cost, not that much to make, right? So yeah, so when the late 2000s when the late 2000s came around and Arnold ceased being the governor of California, there was an opportunity here to sort of maybe we could kind of do this, right? Because the demand is not there so much anymore. So I like the Expendables films. I think they're fun. I saw I think I saw the first one and the third one in the theater. Joanna from Canada, super chat. Thank you, Joanna. Much appreciated. Please get on Instagram, Dave. We need more McRae madness. Yes, I'm not on Instagram yet. Who here is on Instagram? Does everybody have Instagram? I don't have Instagram. But maybe you all have Instagram. The reason I don't have Instagram is it's not personal to Instagram. It was because when I started to do this, I didn't want to bite off more than I can chew, and I had to get, I had to sort of get used to posting more on Twitter, and Facebook, and I think I'm doing that more now. So Instagram it's on the horizon. It's in the foreseeable future. So we'll see what happens. But then it just becomes another thing that I have to remember to post on. And I know that you can cross post as well, but we'll see. We'll see. Most people, I think, have Instagram. But we'll see. But I am on Twitter, folks. I am on Twitter. So if you don't currently follow me on Twitter right now, and you have Twitter, maybe you don't, make sure you follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description, as well as links to everything else down there. Frank Riker, Super Chat. Thank you, Frank. Much appreciated. What actor cries the best? I thought Sly was good with Mickey when Mickey died in Rocky 3. I don't know off the top of my head who cries the best, but I will say that Sylvester Stallone, I have always thought, is a very underrated actor. Now, having said that, let me put a little asterisk there. I am in no way saying that he is a great actor, and I am no way saying that he is a versatile actor. What I am saying is that I think because of his impairment, and a lot of people don't know this, that he was paralyzed when he was born, and in his mouth area, which is why it kind of, right? And that's why he sort of sounds like that. Also, the movie that propelled him to fame, which was Rocky, Sly was putting on that a little bit more than he normally does in his day-to-day talking. When you watch Sly play Rocky, right, you can tell he's like, I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of that kind of sound there. He doesn't sound like that. He's actually quite articulate, all there, very smart. He still sounds like that, but it's not like that. But the reason why he was playing him like that was because Rocky was supposed to be that simple guy from the streets, right? Didn't really have an education, not dumb, but just a simple guy, so that came out in his approach to his acting. And I think that's how people have seen him, right? Like when everybody imitates him, it's always, they always go to the extreme, right? Like Arnold, right? When you listen to Arnold actually talk, obviously, he doesn't sound like that. So the point I'm making is that I think Sylvester Stallone, when I watched him in Rocky Balboa, he was brilliant in that. And he was great again in Creed and Creed 2. The emotion that he brings to that character is great. Now, one of the reasons why he's able to make you believe that he is really that upset, like when he was talking to Paulie in Rocky Balboa about, like, he said something like, Adrian didn't leave, she died. And you see him get upset and you see the tears. Now, one of the reasons why he's able to do that so well with that character is because he created that character. A lot of the themes of Rocky are his life, right? Coming from nowhere, achieving success. That's what Rocky did for him on a personal level. He's played the character for 40 years. That is him. He knows how to play that character. So there's a lot of him that he puts into it, which is why you believe the performance. That doesn't necessarily make him a versatile actor, but he's a better actor than people give him credit for. He's not fucking Robert De Niro or Daniel Day-Lewis, but he's not the that the stereotype has depicted him as. So I think that so I concur. I think anytime I see him, he's great. He's great. And the other things I have seen him in, he's fine. He's not a bad actor. He's not. It's just the that everybody sort of glommed onto in his early days, and there's this stereotype that he's, not all there, which in reality, it's the complete opposite of that. And I think he's a better director than he's given credit for as well. Great question, Frank. Let's see here. Oh, what do we see here? Let me see. Scrolling back. Oh, Copland. Yes. That is a great performance. I forgot about Copland, 1997. Great movie. Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Sylvester Stallone, Michael Rappaport. Great movie. Underrated. If you guys have not seen Copland and you want to see Sylvester Stallone give a moving performance outside of the Rocky character, that's the movie to watch. He was great in that. One of my favorite, genuinely a great movie. He put on like 45 pounds for, for that role, and the way it was great. Absolutely great. Yeah, great great comment there. The Artisan. He was great. That's right. Robert Patrick's in there too. Daylight's good. I wouldn't say that was one of his. It's a fun movie. I wouldn't say he gives an amazing performance in that movie. He gives a standard sly action performance. But yeah, definitely Get Carter. I saw Get Carter in the movie theater when it came out. In a little movie theater in Collingwood. No. Yes, in a little movie theater in Collingwood, Ontario. And I still have a tin full of my movie stubs. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Cliffhanger. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I got to admit, I think it's kind of funny. Not a great movie, but it's kind of funny. Tango and Cash with Kurt Russell. You guys are knocking out the Sly movies. Sound like fucking Tarzan. Ray Liotta, that's right. He's in there too. Let's see here. Any more questions, folks? Any more questions? 140 people watching on this Friday, May the 10th, 2019. Demolition Man. Yes, that was one of Sandra Bullock's first movies, if not her first movie. That was very good. David Lee Burton says, A Quiet Place, an overrated movie. Yes, I think A Quiet Place is hugely overrated. 100%. I thought that movie was meh. I don't give a frog's fat ass if I ever see it again. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's fine. If you've never seen it, you'll be thoroughly entertained for an hour and a half. But the premise was based on incompetent decisions by these characters that I just couldn't get behind it. If it was actually happening, you would not make those decisions. As soon as Emily Blunt was pregnant, I checked out because I thought that doesn't make any sense. You are in an apocalyptic movie that your sole survival is based on the fact that you cannot make any noise. Your survival depends on it. Now, if she was pregnant before shit went down, that's fine, because this is a matter of circumstance then, right? But when the years come up and you watch how long she's been pregnant, pay attention. No, she got pregnant well after the fact that shit hit the fan. And then somebody said to me, well, Dave, they need to repopulate. They don't need to repopulate anything. There's other people around. And that's made very, aware to you by when you see other people in the lights and things. There's other people around. They're not the only people on the face of the planet. There's no need to repopulate the earth. That would be the last thing I would be thinking about. So to get pregnant, now, because it feels to me that this was just a writing choice that was made because somebody in the writing room was like, oh, I got an idea. How cool. How about she's pregnant? Oh, fuck. She's pregnant. I would be like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand now we can utilize the baby. It's like, oh no, we have a baby and we can't make sound. Oh no. It's like, come on. It's lame. It felt like it was shoehorned in because if you're telling me that this couple would actually be that fucking stupid, then I hope they all die because they deserve it. And there's other things too. There were other decisions that the characters made that they had to make those decisions to justify the narrative continuing. I don't think it's a bad movie. It lost me. It lost me. And I think it's highly overrated for that premise. But if you want a fun little movie to watch every now and then, knock yourselves out. But I think it's overrated. Justin Valdera says, Dave, what's a franchise you seriously think needs a reboot that is in need of one? I don't think there's any franchise that needs one. I just wish that they would make good movies. I just wish that the movies they are making, whether it's Star Trek, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, just make good movies, good stories. It's all about stories. Yeah, special effects are important. Yeah, hiring the right actors are important. But at the end of the day, it's the story that locks everybody in. It's a story that locks everybody in. I would love to see a movie that moved me like The Green Mile or The Shawshank Redemption. Now, funny enough, those are based on Stephen King books. But I would love to see a movie like that again. You know, a movie that just, yeah, you know, it's like, wow, you know, gets you in the feels and you're like, yeah. You know, we're so inundated with all just the icing. We're so inundated with so much icing that it would be nice to get some cake every now and then. Let's see here. It is 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this May the 10th. I love how you guys are talking amongst yourselves as well. That's the way to do it. I tried to snap there and it didn't snap. Ooh. Yes. Joanna from Canada says, Dave, besides Jennifer Love Hewitt, who is your second favorite celebrity crush? My second favorite celebrity crush. I don't know. I mean, there were always a lot of girls that were pretty, you know, and like like, you know, how you know people are pretty, like Natalie Portman is attractive and you know, I mean, even, yeah, like there's, but I'm not like, I'm of an age now where I'm not really paying attention to that. Right. So I think when people ask me what was one of your celebrity, it goes back to when I was a teenager, where that's all you thought about. Right. I mean, you know, when you're a little, you know, a kid or a teenager, that's all we think about. Right. Girls are thinking about boys. Boys are thinking about girls. Now I don't have one. It's just like, oh, she's attractive. I guess she's attractive. But in high school, it was definitely Jennifer Love Hewitt. I had pictures of her on my locker. Went and saw movies of her, had calendars of her, and that fizzled out sort of probably when she started to fizzle out. Jennifer Love Hewitt and I are the same age. She's actually a couple of months older than me. But when her career began to fizzle out after Ghost Whisperer, and she went and got married and had kids, I was naturally sort of off that. I wasn't watching that show, and, you know, I was kind of, you know, she's still attractive, you know, she's still good. But I don't know who a second one would be. I'm trying to think in high school who a second one would be. There were always like Jennifer Aniston on Friends was pretty, and I'm dating myself now when I say that, and what's her face from Saved by the Bell was pretty, and but I can't say that they were like, I didn't have any pictures of them or anything like that. So that's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I thought Sarah Michelle Gellar was kind of cute when she was on Buffy, but that was it. Like, it was just kind of, oh, she's kind of cute. It was all Jennifer Love Hewitt for me. It was crazy. It was crazy. Ryan Ranem says, did you see the new Judy trailer with Renee Zellweger? Yes, I did. Looks really interesting. I talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Looks really interesting. Let's see. Julio, is it Julio? No, Julio Munoz. Am I saying that right? Munoz? I'm butchering it. I know I'm butchering it. Dave, burger or hot dogs? I gotta tell you, man, when I'm out on the streets of Toronto, there's the street meat, you know, from the vendors. There's nothing like a good hot dog. Burgers are good too, but there's nothing like on a cold day when you're down there and, you know, and you get the hot dog and you're putting all the stuff on it, and the guys are like, hey, what the, come on, there we go. And you're like, you know, meow, meow, meow. You know, you're downtown, you're like, yeah, it's hot, cold, and the dog's warm, and you're like, the ketchup's going all over your face. Here's a good question for you guys. What is a movie coming out this year that you don't give a shit about? A movie that's coming out this year that is somewhat highly anticipated, but you just don't care. And you care so little that you probably won't go see it in the movie theater. You know, you just okay. You're not necessarily saying it's a bad movie, or you think it's a bad movie, or you hate the property. It's just a movie where you're like, I don't care, and I don't care. Like, I care so little that I probably won't go see it. Corey Dean says Star Wars. So Corey Dean is saying he cares so little about it, he probably won't go see it. That's the key, folks. So little that you probably won't go see it in the movie theater. Joanna from Canada says The Lion King. DJ Mac says Men in Black Dave. Eric Simon says it was Avengers Endgame. Roger Dodger says Star Wars. Tyler Trigg says Men in Black. The new Men in Black. Men in Black. A lot of people saying Men in Black. Lion King. Men in Black. Wow. Fascinating. Aladdin. Child's Play from Megatron Traps. Endgame. Any Marvel movie from Savage One. Child's Play. I'm going to laugh if all of you guys go see those movies in the movie theater. Sonic. Annabelle 3. Frozen 2. Star Wars. Most movies this year from Michael Anderson. Most movies this year. Michael Anderson is not going to see any movies this year. John Wick 3. Tabitha Short says Star Wars. Spider-Man, the new Sonic. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Halloween 2019. You know what? I don't think anybody is going to see Halloween 2019. I guarantee you that Halloween 2019 will make $0 at the box office. It's a bold prediction, I know. It's a bold prediction, but I am predicting it will make nothing at the box office. It's crazy. I know, it's crazy. Daniel Newbegin says, I quit my... You savage, you. Yeah, that's funny. Those of you that don't know what Daniel's talking about, just watch my video from last week, I guess it was, my new hate mail video. You'll get it. That's funny shit. Okay, Troy says Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, so we got everybody's most anticipated. This is the list of people that are saying, I just don't care about this. And I care so little, I'm probably not going to go see it. Fascinating. Excuse me. Grave Warmer says Frozen. Andy Witten says, do you like We Watched a Movie guys on YouTube? Yeah, I do. Mike and Jay, yeah. Really nice guys. Yep. And every now and then, if I'm subscribed to them, so every now and then if I see something pop in, I'll watch them because they're fun to watch. Let's see. Lee Tabitha Short says, I need to get a desk job when this baby comes. Oh, hey. Yeah, baby's on the way, and you said you're getting bigger, so it's coming soon. Well, you said the end of August, right? August 31st? Oh! Mind-blowing, Tabitha. The Film Addict says, favorite track from Halloween 3? Ooh, probably the opening theme. The opening theme to Halloween 3, I really like that. I really like that a lot. Okay, let's see here. The Hydra 92 says, hey, Dave, do you like Decker Shadow? Decker Shadow? I have no idea what Decker Shadow is. Connor 96 says, Dave, will you go see the Joker movie in October? Probably, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably go see that in the movie theater for sure. Blood of the Martyr. Oh, I like that. 1987. Have you heard that they're planning on remaking Scarface now? Any thoughts? I have not heard that. Scarface has already been remade. The one that Brian De Palma did in 83, I think it was, with Al Pacino, that was a remake from a 1930s movie, I think. So a lot of people don't know that the Scarface that everybody knows with Pacino is actually a remake. So if they're going to remake Scarface again, that doesn't surprise me. I don't think there's a need to remake it again. I can understand why if you make a movie in the 30s, you want to remake it in the 80s. I get that. That's 50 fucking years. I think the Scarface from the 80s still holds up. Yes, it's dated. Yes, it's 83. And yes, I'm sure there are some young people in the chat room right now who are maybe in their late teens, early 20s that would be like, I don't want to fucking watch a movie from 83. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying, like, I get it, you know. But it still holds up. So to remake Scarface today, I think it would be maybe, I don't know. Good gangster movies, like good raw gangster movies nowadays are tough to come by. Not that that was really a gangster movie. I mean, it was more of a mob movie. They're tough to come by. they're tough to come by. So I don't know. The Film Addict says, Carlin or Pryor? I prefer Carlin over Pryor, but Pryor is really good too. Okay, Troy says Stranger Things 3. Yes, coming July 1st. Stranger Things 3 is coming. Hey, for those of you that don't know, this coming Tuesday on episode 22 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, Tony Michael and I are talking Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. The Two Dudes and Some Bullshit is going back to the regular Sunday schedule. It's just these last 2 weeks we've had to sort of juggle things around, and that sometimes is going to happen. Traditionally, we'll try to keep it on Sunday nights as much as we can, but every now and then, depending on what's happening with Tony, depending on what's happening with me, we might have to juggle around a bit. So this Tuesday coming up, May 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this YouTube channel, Tony Michael and I break down Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. I know many of you have been dying and waiting to know my thoughts on that. So, Jim D says, actually, add Stranger Things 3 to my list of things I don't care about. I love season 1, and that was it. There you have it, folks. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't like season 2 as much as I liked season 1, and I actually think you could just have season 1 and that's it. But they're going on. I'll check it out. Cross Caldwell says, thoughts on Rob Zombie's Lord of Salem. I've never seen it. So I don't have any thoughts on it. Let's see. Whose question should I answer? Whose question should I answer? Look at all these questions coming in. Look at all these people wanting me to answer their question. Let's see. Jim D says, Dave, can you do a Pennywise voice? You mean like the Skarsgård one? What does he do? He's more like, hey, Georgie. He's up in there, right? He's up, hey. Well, I don't know what it's like that. Oh, kind of up here. It's kind of got like a Scooby-Doo kind of vibe, right? It's kind of like, well, I don't think it's there. I'd have to work on it, but he's up in there when he's doing it. He's well, whoa, like he's up there where Tim Curry was more kind of more down here like this. We all float down here. Don't you want it? He was more kind of guttural, and Skarsgård's more, well, I'm kind of up here like this. Whoa. He's up there. So I'd have to work on it, but that's sort of the base point of where he is. And then, of course, at the end of the It trailer, was it just me, or did he not sound like Winnie the Pooh? Hello. He did. It was funny. As soon as he came out, I mean, it was cool. A great reveal. He goes like this, and he comes in, and then he comes out, and he's like, hello. It's like, is that fucking what? Did you just eat poo? Oh shit, he ate poo. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm telling you, at the end of the It Chapter 2 teaser trailer that dropped yesterday, check it out. If you haven't, and you're like, did he really sound like Winnie the Pooh? He does. Think of Winnie the Pooh, and then watch when he comes out of the darkness and he goes, hello. He sounds like Winnie the Pooh. It's fucking funny. John Melancholy, your thoughts on Chucky's voice? I admit that the laugh that I heard in that little clip that was online did sound very reminiscent of the Joker. How Mark Hamill is probably... Look, you're probably going to hear a lot of the Joker in Chucky's laugh, because I think Mark Hamill is a good voice actor, but I don't know how versatile he is. So, I mean, he's done a lot of things, but, there's only so many voices you can do, right? And it's not necessarily all... It's not about the voice, it's about the character. So as long as we believe the character of Chucky, if he sounds a little bit like the Joker in a laugh here or there, I don't think we're going to give a fuck. But I think the Joker was more like... like, and really kind of going that far. I don't think Chucky's gonna, I would be surprised if he goes that far with it, because then of course you're just the Joker, right? Like, hello, Joker here! I don't think you're gonna get that from at no point, is he going to go, Andy, why? I don't think he's going to do that, because then you're full on Joker. So I think you're probably going to get more of maybe short bursts. So maybe like, or, something like that, which kind of sounds like Joker. But if it's implemented right, and if it's presented against the backdrop of the voice that he's doing for Chucky, we might kind of go, okay, all right, okay, I buy it. But somebody told me that they were worried that he was going to go full-on Joker. And I'm like, for Mark to go full-on Joker, Chucky would have to be going, Andy! He's not going to do that. And if he does do that, then the producer and the director need to be shot. Satire, folks, satire. I'm not suggesting they actually get shot. You know what I'm saying. I'm a Looney Tunes cartoon. But so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have him go that far. What if at the end of It Chapter 2, instead of a spider, it was Scooby-Doo? Scooby! Maybe it's Scooby-Doo. Maybe it is. K316, thank you for the super chat. K316 says, what's your favorite Robert De Niro movie? Robert De Niro movie. Man, that's good. That's good. Midnight Run is a favorite of mine. Goodfellas. Raging Bull. What's the why am I losing Robert De Niro? Robert De Niro. I'm like drawing a blank on his movies, which is just ridiculous. Taxi Driver, of course. Yes, that probably is my favorite. Would be Taxi Driver. Heat, I love Heat. Yeah, Heat, absolutely. Copland, although it wasn't it was an ensemble, as was Heat, but De Niro was good in it. Backdraft, again, more of an ensemble. Like the dude's fucking, he's a legend. And that's those there are sort of would be sort of in the area of movies that I love of his. I think his films are just great shit. Cape Fear, great performance. Yeah, Cape Fear was okay. The Fockers, yeah, that's right. I haven't seen The Fockers in years. Casino. Awakenings. Thank you. Yes, Awakenings with Robin Williams. If you guys haven't seen Awakenings with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, and you want to see both of these talented actors at their ultimate best, watch Awakenings. Brilliant movie. So sad, but just brilliant. Awesome. And thank you for the super chat. I think I said thank you, but I appreciate it. So let's see here. What else? What else should we do? What are the things we should do? Let's see. Okay, Troy says Dirty Grandpa. Yeah, that's the one. Isn't that the one with Zac Efron? The fuck is Zac Efron doing in Dirty Grandpa? It's fantastic, Christian Hafer says. Nick, the king of comedy with Jerry Lewis too. What the Joker is going to be based off of loosely. Yeah, that's right. Robert De Niro is in the Joker as well. That's right, he is. Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Howard says, have you ever seen A Simple Plan with Bill Paxton? No, I don't think I have. Michael Anderson says, favorite John Candy movie? I have Planes. Yep, mine too. Planes, Trades, and Automobiles. Del Griffith. Shower Curtain Ring Salesman. American Light and Fixture. He's a Canadian icon. I mean, just unbelievable. We lost him so young. He was only 43 or 44, I believe. But that would be my favorite. Yeah. And then from there, you stem down to The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Summer Rental. You could classify Home Alone in there, but that wasn't his movie. He had a cameo in the movie. That wasn't his movie. But there's a line in the movie. Was it Home Alone? Oh, well, I think it was Home Alone. Yeah, I think it's when he's in the back of the truck and he's playing the clarinet, I think it is, right? And he's trying to get Kevin's mom to play. He's like, try it, try it, try it, try it, try it. It's like, holy fuck, how many try-its you got to deliver to this woman? Yeah, he was great. Absolutely great. Spaceballs. Yep, Spaceballs. You know, it's way past now, but back in the day, they were honestly going to, I remember hearing rumors that they were going to make a Spaceballs 2. And obviously, to be in line with the actual movie that came before it, it would be Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. But I heard rumors early on that they were going to make a movie called Spaceballs 3, In Search of 2. And I was like, yes, because you can still have Spaceballs 2 as The Search for More Money, right? But they were going to make a Spaceball. I don't know if they were officially going to make it, but I remember hearing rumors back in like when I was a kid, like late 80s, early 90s, that they were going to do Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. And I was like, oh my God, what a great title. That's great. They should still do it. Of course, you know, John Candy's gone and Mel Brooks is he still alive? If he's still alive, he's kicking on death's door. That's for sure. Frank Riker says, if I visit Toronto, what non-tourist place should I see? Non-tourist place that you should see? Oh, that's a good question. Non-tourist place that you should see. I can tell you some of the big tourist places that I think you should see. Non-touristy place that you should see. That's a good question. Let me think on that. There's non-tourist place that you should see. That's a good question, Frank. There's gotta be stuff. I'm drawing a blank for some strange reason, but there's gotta be some really good things that would be great to see, that are sort of under the radar, hidden away, that not a lot of people know about. I think part of the reason too is when you live in a place, you take for granted in the place that you live. You know, and sometimes you forget to go out and explore your own backyard. Like it's not uncommon for people to know other cities and where to go and what to see and where to eat and all that kind of stuff, almost more than they know their own backyard. And I'm not quite that bad, but when you ask that, it's kind of like, oh, non-touristy places. Let me see here, because I take it seriously. I'm like, oh, I gotta think of something that's kind of cool, there absolutely are. There are hidden gems in Toronto. I mean, we're the 4th largest city in North America, so we absolutely have the hidden gems that I think would pique your interest. But I got to think on that. That's a great question, Frank. Greatest rock band from Ontario? I have no idea. No idea. Good question, though. It's Aiden says, hey, Dave, what's your favorite TV series? Of all time or right now? Because I don't watch a lot of TV. But I can tell you what it is of all time, if you mean of all time. Okay. Travis Hendrickson says, do you like American Graffiti? Love American Graffiti. Great. Great movie. Love it. Yeah. What was that? That was 1973. It was 1973, I think, was American Graffiti. Yeah. Ba-ba. Oh, Michael Anderson follows up. Great question. What 80s movie hasn't aged well in your eyes? A lot of 80s movies haven't aged well. A lot of 80s movies haven't aged well. A lot of 80s TV shows haven't aged well. I can't think of one off the top of my head, to be specific, but yeah. The Film Addict says, favorite Family Guy character? My favorite is Herbert the Pervert. Hey, muscly arms. Yeah, Herbert is funny. Yes. He's my favorite. No, well, my favorite is Peter. My favorite is Peter, for sure. Yep, Peter's my favorite. Mohammed Camber says, I'm off for now, Dave. Catch you on Sunday with 2 dudes and some bullshit. Have a good one. Well, it's not Sunday this week. It's Tuesday. We've had to push it again to Tuesday, so it's Tuesday, May 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you can still make it. We'll see you then. Tyler Trigg says, Seth Rogen fan? Not really. Not really. Annoys me. Frank Riker says, ever seen Dogma? Yes, years ago. Liked it. Caleb22 says, worst John Carpenter film. Worst John Carpenter film. I'm going to say maybe... Worst John Carpenter film? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Ghosts of Mars, maybe. Maybe Escape from L.A. Probably somewhere in there. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Find somebody I haven't. Somebody I haven't talked to. Somebody I haven't asked. Oh, wait. Marina M. Hawk says, what do you think? What do you think with the deal of actors being glued to a specific role for most of their careers? You mean typecast? Well, I will say this. I think most actors, if you were to ask them when they're first starting out, if they would like to be typecast to a specific role, I would think most actors would probably say no. Because there are no guarantees that that role has any longevity. And as an actor, what a lot of people forget, and this isn't, this doesn't mean everybody, but most actors, and I feel this way because I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor, but I'm an actor, it's a form of acting. Most actors, look, are there people out there that get into it because they want to be rich and they want to be famous and they want to do this, that, and the other? Sure, that exists, yes. But most actors do it because they are very passionate about the craft and very into playing characters and roles and expressing themselves creatively and putting their talents to good use. It's fulfilling for them. And then if it's good money, that's great. That's a bonus, right? If there's a little bit of recognition that comes with that, that's great. That's cool. But at the end of the day, it's all about the work. The problem is that, most actors don't want to be typecast because they want to continue to work. And it's very rare that you will get typecast into a role and play that role for an enormous amount of time. Like, a perfect example of that would be Kelsey Grammer as Frasier Crane. He played him for 10 years on Cheers, and then he essentially plays him for another 10, 11 years on Frasier. That rarely happens. He had like a 20, 22-year career as one character, and very successfully. It's not like we're talking about he had a 22-year career, and 8 of those years were his No. Cheers was a huge hit the whole way through. Everybody loved Frasier Crane. Then he gets a spinoff, which was a huge risk, and Frasier Crane... Frasier, the spinoff of Cheers, arguably one of the greatest shows in TV history, the spinoff also becomes, arguably, greater than Cheers, one of the greatest, most awarded shows in TV history. It had the most Emmys up until just a couple years ago. That rarely happens. Rarely happens. And Kelsey Grammer almost turned down Frasier, the show, Frasier, because he had just done 10 years of Cheers. And he's like, I don't really I'm kind of like, I want to go do other things. But the opportunity was there, the money was there, so he took a risk. That rarely happens. If you get typecast into a role, it's usually you're hugely successful, you enter the pop culture consciousness, and then it's for maybe 6, 7 years, and then you just can't you're always identified as that character. Kelsey Grammer today, is identified as Frasier Crane. So I think most actors don't want it because they want to continue to work. And I think by and large, if you could say to somebody, okay, you're cast as this role, do you like that role? Yes, it's great. If we could guarantee you that you could play this role for 30 years and you'll be known for that, do you want to do it? I think most of them would say yes, but I think they'd also say, but I want to do other things too. So you ask, what do you think with the deal of actors being glued to specific roles for most of their careers? it's an interesting question because every actor wants to work. And if doing this means I'm going to work and get a big paycheck, sometimes they'll do it. The counter to that is you might just be doing that and have trouble getting other work. Robert Downey Jr. is not a draw, folks. He's not a draw. He's a draw as Iron Man, sure. But he also released a little movie with Robert Duvall called The Judge, which didn't do anything. Nobody went to see it. So, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is not a huge draw. He's a huge draw as Iron Man, fine. But is he the draw or is it Iron Man the draw? No, it's him as Iron Man. Sure, okay. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. But then it's just him as Iron Man. Because nobody went to see The Judge. And that was actually a pretty good movie. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I think actors are... I think actors allow themselves to be glued to specific properties because of how competitive the marketplace is and how it's always been. And they take that risk because they want to work. But I think if you were to ask them, do you want to just do this one thing? They would say no, and they try very hard to try and distance themselves and do other things. The important thing is while you're... This is the important thing. And then I'll continue on here. Sorry I'm taking so long on this, guys. The important thing is this. If you see an opportunity to take a big role that might enter the pop culture consciousness, and you have the opportunity to do it, you absolutely take it. The important thing is that while you're doing that role, you work very hard to try and do other things as well. You don't just go, great, I've got it. I'll take that. Yeah, sure, I'll take... No, you work very hard to do other movies as well. You know, because then you might get something that will help to distance yourself from that character and define another character, like Harrison Ford with Han Solo and Indiana Jones. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. But I think, yeah, hopefully that answered your question. It was a roundabout way, but I think it's okay. But if they don't want to be typecast, I think they should try to do other things while they're in the middle of it as well. Mark Warling says, Dave, what do you think of the movie Logan? Haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. Hear it's good, though. Hear it's good. Michelle Larsh says, have a great night. Ciao. Good night, Michelle. Blu-ray Addict says, do you like David Lynch? He's had a few hits, a few misses, but he's all right. The J Hooker Master says, Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. I haven't seen it in years. That was 1999, I believe, right? Haven't seen it in a long time, but I liked it. I thought it was okay. Let's see here. Supernatural is a good example. Thanks, Dave. See ya. Goob says, ever see Wages of Fear or Sorcerer? Two of the most suspenseful movies I've seen. Sorcerer is a remake of Wages of Fear and is directed by directed by the same guy that did The Exorcist. Dave, you dig them. Haven't seen them? Haven't heard of them? Definitely will check them out. Thank you for the recommendation. Joanna from Canada says, Dave, what are you up to tonight? Work or play? Just kind of doing this, and then I'm going to go for a run after the show is done. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Let's see. Connor96 says, Dave, do you watch the TV series Into the Dark? Do you? No, I don't. I don't, and I didn't. Hunter Howard says, thoughts on Starman. Oh, you mean the show? Because there was a show, I think, right? Or the movie. John Carpenter's Starman. Loved Starman as a kid, man. That's one with Jeff Bridges, right? Loved it as a kid. Let's see here. Christian Haver says, Cheers was the #1 show. Frasier never was. So what's your point? That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Frasier was... It's not about who's #1. It's about... There's a list, right? If you get to #1, that's great. But there's a lot of shows that make it to #1 and also don't last as long as Frasier, right? It's about consistency, right? I would rather have a show that was consistently #4 or 5, but ran for 11 seasons, than have a show that ran for 5 years and was #1 twice. Right? It's about consistency. And Frasier won more Emmys than Cheers. Let's see here. Oh, that was my stomach. Did you hear that? My stomach. Did you guys hear that? If you guys heard that, my stomach is growling. I think I need to get something to eat. Christian Haver says, Frasier is not better than Cheers is my point. Well, that's subjective, Christian. That's subjective, buddy. Frasier is not better than Cheers is my point. Well, he's made his point, folks. Christian has made his point. Frasier is not better than Cheers. You hear that, everybody? It's not. All right, it's not. Christian has spoken. Frank Riker says, where's Veda? Veda is in the other room, fast asleep. She has her dinner, her din around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then she goes off and sort of naps, and then she'll want some nighttime cuddles tonight after my run. So yeah. Let's see here. Favorite HBO series, Blu-ray Addict. Favorite HBO series. Let me see here. Favorite HBO series. That's hard to say. That's very hard to say. That's hard to say. I'm not sure. That's a good question, though. Spike Money says, Dave, you'd make a fun teacher. I know. Think of all the shit you would learn in my class. I'd earn my paycheck. The Hydra 92 says The Sopranos. Oh, yeah, The Sopranos. I remember when The Sopranos were first going into syndication here in Canada, I was doing all of their ads back in 2006 because the show was from 1999 to 2004, I believe. And then they went into syndication. And when they were broadcast up here in Canada, I was doing all of their spots. And I think I have a few of the spots that I did. I should bust those out and show you guys. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. That was back, it was like 13 or 14 years ago. Christian Haver says, Titanic won more Oscars than any movie. Is the best movie of all time? No. Christian, let it go, buddy. I know that. I know awards don't mean that. I know that. It's, you think Cheers is better than Frasier. Great. Knock yourself out. Great. They both won. They both ran for 11 seasons and both were equally loved. People like Cheers. People like Frasier. Cheers is one of the greatest of all time. So is Frasier. It's point. I don't understand why you keep. I agree with you. Awards don't mean that one is better than the other. I absolutely agree. 100%. The J Hookmaster says Dirty Harry series. Yeah, Dirty Harry series. You know, you know what? Yeah, I've watched a couple of Dirty Harry movies over the years, but I haven't seen a Dirty Harry movie in a long time. I gotta check them out again. I can't believe that that Clint Eastwood is still going. He's like 89 or 88. He's still going. And maybe that's why he's still going, is because he continues to work. Maybe that's why he's still going. Hunter Howard says, what about Gran Torino? Oh, I love Gran Torino. Love it. Love Gran Torino. Grave Warmer says, what movie hit you the hardest upon first watch? Hit me the hardest how? Emotionally, like I'm choking up? Hit me like, that was fucking amazing. Well, that was creepy. What kind of emotion are you talking about? DJ Max says, what about Law and Order, SUV TV? Oh my God. I feel like we're going way back. I haven't watched those shows in a long time. Back in the 90s, TV shows that I watched Seinfeld. I watched, Home Improvement. I watched Full House. I watched, The X-Files, you know. Christian Hafer says, there you go. That's all I'm saying. You said Frasier won more Emmys is all means nothing. Yeah, I said it. The reason why I said it won more Emmys is because it's an example of the recognition that the show was receiving. At the end of the day, Christian, you believe Cheers was a better show than Frasier. But that doesn't make what you think correct. It's subjective. What I'm saying is that it won more Emmys because of the recognition it was receiving. That's what I'm saying. So that means that more people at the Academy were recognizing Frasier in the categories that Cheers was also recognized in as well. So that means that under those conditions, Frasier was knocking it out of the park more consistently, is what I'm saying, in terms of those categories. That doesn't mean that the show overall is better. I'm just using that as an example of something quantifiable that can be used to say Frasier was a great show, right? Because you seem to be very sort of, you seem to be focusing objectively on this. And you have to understand that your opinion is just an opinion. I don't like to focus on what is good and what. I like to look at sort of the objective point of view. Awards in and of themselves doesn't mean one thing is better than another. No, that's true. But when you look at two shows that you're trying to compare, and you look at, you know, the awards that both are received under the same categories, right? Under the same, because they're both television shows, and because one happened one right after the other, you can look at sort of where they were in terms of, you know, their respective categories, is what I'm saying, right? And what was awarded this and that category. Maybe Frasier had more Emmy-winning performances consistently in a best leading role. And you couldn't look at Cheers that way, because that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that that makes it better than the other. Let it go, buddy. Kevin Moore says, Dave, give up. Christian is one of those people who cause you to give a disclaimer to everything you say. Oh, I don't know who he is. So, I mean, I've seen his name, but obviously I don't know who he is. Let's see here. Grave Warmer says, what movie hit you the heart? Oh, right. Yeah. You're supposed to follow up with that. You're supposed to follow up with that. Blu-ray Addict says, I've never seen an episode of Cheers or Frasier a day in my life. Yeah, Cheers is great. Cheers is awesome. And Frasier, to me, it's different because you're following one character. So you don't get the large ensemble, but it's witty and it's great. Frasier is really good. Both are great. Vegas Courier says, who do you think is crazier, the TCM Sawyer family or 1000 Corpses Firefly? Oh, that's hard. I'm going to say probably TCM just off the top of my head, but that's good. That's good. Yeah. Haven't watched that movie in a long time. I keep meaning to put that on my Saturday movie nights. I got to do that. Okay, we'll go, you know what? We'll go to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is where we're going. That's where we're going to go. It's going to be a 2.5 hour live stream. We'll go to 10 o'clock. So get those questions in now, folks. The Film Addict says, are you a fan of the TV show Taxi? I never really was. Obviously, I wasn't around when it was on, but when I saw it in repeats in the late 80s, early 90s, when it would come on, I was like, click. I think it was the beginning of the show. It was that, you know the theme. It always was like, this sounds boring to me. So I would just click it, and probably being like 10 or 11 years old didn't help. Nick says, ever watch the show Dexter? I have not watched the show Dexter. I know the show you're talking about, but I haven't watched it. Michael Anderson says, so we all agree Frasier is better. Don't get Christian started. He's gonna lose his shit. He's angry. He doesn't like it when people don't agree with him. He doesn't like it. No, I'm telling you, it's Cheers. All right, it's Cheers. Let's just say it's Cheers. Cheers is better, folks. Cheers is better. Let's see. What about Rush Hour? Oh, the Rush Hour movies. I love the Rush Hour movies. Oh, I love them. It's kind of Chris Tucker's claim to fame. And I am a big Rush Hour fan. I think, there's no doubt that the first two are the best. And Rush Hour 3, I saw Rush Hour 3 in the theater back in 2007. Rush Hour 2 was what, 2002, I think? 3? The first Rush Hour was, I think it was, Rush Hour 3 was, no, the first Rush Hour was 98. The first Rush Hour was 1998. That's what it was. Connor 96, Chris Tucker's best performance was in Friday. Yeah, he was also in he was in The Fifth Element. That's what it is. The Fifth Element. That's what he was in. Bye, Tabitha. Have a good night. Yeah, Chris Tucker. I love the Rush. I think it's funny. It's funny. No, Rush Hour 4 is not in production right now. Not that I'm aware of. There was a rumor going around that it was. There was a picture of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker going like this, right? But that has since been debunked. So, no. That was not, is not. And when you say in production, okay? A little bit of semantics, okay? When you say in production means that they are actually shooting the movie. They're in production. It's been greenlit, and they are shooting the movie, right? I mean, it's a matter of semantics. It could mean pre-production as well, but it means, like, at the very least, they're in pre-production. So be careful when you say something is in production, because that's not always the case. A lot of things, when people say it's in production, what it really means is that it's in development. And development can mean anything. Development can mean anything from having a conversation with a producer or just kind of tossing ideas around, right? And the studio is like, that's kind of interesting. I like that. Okay. Yeah, write a treatment and just kind of, we'll see what we think and maybe we can get it going. That's development. That's nothing. Let me tell you folks, there are hundreds of movies, if not thousands of movies, great idea movies that move into the development stage, which simply means the studio's kind of interested. Maybe they got somebody working on a treatment. Maybe they're talking about it, right? They're kind of, maybe trying to figure out how they can get it all done. That never see the light of day. That get close to being greenlit and moving into pre-production. And then for whatever reason, the studio's like, nah, we can't do it. No. Multitude of reasons why. So be careful when you say is in production, because that means that it's full on. The script is done. It's been cast. They're ready to go. And that's not the case. So just kind of say, I would say that, there's been rumors that they've been talking about doing another one, because that's been happening for years. But as far as I know, it recently came out that that was not the case, that there's been no plans. So, but I know what you mean. I knew what you meant. Anthony Wall says Night Court. Oh, Night Court. Yeah, Night Court was a good show too. Tommy Ricknell, thank you for the super chat. Tommy says, do you have any particular favorite movie director from Scandinavia? I will say goodnight after this. Thanks for a great midnight chat talk. You know what? I got to admit, dude, I don't know too many. I might know Scandinavian filmmakers. Like if you were to say, well, that person, this person, that person, I might go, oh, they're Scandinavian. I had no idea. But off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I might, but I'm not sure. Maybe in the next chat you can provide me with a list, and maybe I could see if I know them. Very cool. Have a good night. Thank you for the support for the channel, man. You rock. Let's see here. Edward Nito says, Dave, do you remember the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon? Yes, I do. And I have a Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. That was the one with Godzuki, right? Godzuki. Is that the one? Is that the one? It's like boom, 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 boom. I think that's the one, right? Please let me know if that's the one. Oh, I think that's the one. I have a VHS tape of that. Like I bought it. I think that's the one, right? Anyway, Travis Henderson says, let the right one in. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good movie. I have that. I have that movie. John Melancholy says, thoughts on The Conjuring 3 due to release on 9/11/2020. You mean my thoughts on the fact that it's releasing on September 11th, and maybe that's kind of tacky, or just thoughts of the movie releasing? Well, I'm looking forward to The Conjuring 3, because I think outside of the abysmal Annabelle shit and the Nun shit, The Conjuring so far has been a successful series. They've only done 2 movies, but so far it's been successful. The problem is that James Wan's not directing, and in his other series that he directed the first 2 installments on, which was Insidious, Chapter 1 and 2, I quite liked. And then Insidious 3 wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but that was probably because it was directed by, Wan's right-hand man there, Winall, whatever his name is. He directed that movie, I think, right? So there was it was kind of like keeping it in the family, and I was kind of like, oh, this is not bad, but it wasn't. It kind of it lost its luster. Conjuring, the first Conjuring I think is the best. The second Conjuring I think is okay. It's becoming a little Hollywood. The first Conjuring is too, but it was like Conjuring 3, I don't know. I'm not overly excited for it, because usually the third installments in horror franchises are not good. Are not nobody, that doesn't mean that there aren't some that are not bad, like people like, the Dream Warriors. A lot of people like Halloween 3. I'm just talking overall. Once you start to get into the third movie of a franchise, it starts to wear a little thin. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Frank Riker, Super Chat. Thanks again, Frank. Much appreciated, buddy. Worst experience at the theater. I can tell you. I know it. Watching Insidious. I was downtown Toronto at Dundas Square. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dundas Square is like Toronto's Times Square. Now, it's nowhere near, it's nowhere as big as Times Square, obviously. But if I was to plop you right now in the center of Dundas Square, you'd be like, oh shit. Like, this looks like New York. Like, it's lit up like a Christmas tree with billboards and LED screens, and it's huge. Absolutely huge. So I was down there at a studio doing some voiceover work, and I had a couple of sessions, but they were spaced out. So I had some time to kill, right? It's like, what the fuck am I going to do? I have a session at like, 10 a.m. and then I was done by like 11, and my next session's not till like 3 in the afternoon. What am I going to do for like 4 hours? I don't want to, drive home and come back downtown. So I went to the movie theater there right at Dundas Square, and I watched Insidious by myself. I was like, I want to see this movie because I love the trailer, so I'm going to watch it. And there weren't that many people in the movie theater because it was a matinee on like a Tuesday at like 1 in the afternoon. As I'm sitting in my chair, people come and sit right behind me. For the vast majority of the movie, they're all right. Then when scary shit begins to happen in the movie, the girl behind me is forcefully kicking my chair. Where I'm going like this, and I'm like, you've got to know that there's somebody in front of you. You have to know that these convulsions you're having because of something scary jarring you is causing you to kick the fucking chair in front of me. So I turned around, and she's with her boyfriend and like some other guy, and I turned around, I stood up, and I said, are you fucking kidding me? And the guy's like, what the fuck? I'm like, your girl's kicking the back of my chair. And the guy goes, well, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And I stood over him, and I literally, it was like George Costanza Seinfeld. I stood over him, and I said, I'll punch you in the fucking head. That's what I'm going to do. And he's like, oh, fucking shut up. What's going on? And they just sat, and then they got up and went to another spot. I literally, honest to goodness, I wasn't actually going to punch him in the head, but I was so angry because, like, it was like this, okay? This is all it was like. It was this bad, We've all had people kick the back of our chair. Not a big deal. It happens, right? But this is what it was like. Something happens. Bah! It's like, you know what you're doing. If you accidentally kick the back of the chair once, or you're crossing your legs and you kick the back of the chair, not a big deal, right? Shit happens. Not a big deal. But when you're like kicking the back of your chair as a way to go, oh shit, it's like somebody's doing that, but they're doing it with their leg. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Clearly you can see me. I know I'm not tall. I mean, I'm 5'8". I'm not, but you can, I'm not like Danny DeVito. You can tell there's somebody in the seat in front of you. Pissed me off. It still affects me. But that's what I said. I mean, again, obviously I wasn't literally going to do that, but I was being forceful and angry. I might have handled it a bit differently as well if there wasn't just us in the theater, essentially. If it was packed, I might have handled it a bit differently. But I said that because I was like, and they're like, no, they backed down, and they were, they went over to another spot. Like, no. You know how they're like, they were probably like 22, 23. Anyway, that's my story. That was the worst experience I ever had in a theater. That's right, Joanna from Canada. McRage. And you can imagine, like, I'll punch you in the fucking head. That's what I'm going to do. It's like, I became scarier than the movie on screen. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's see here. Connor96 says, good luck, Dave, with, we'll tune in for the Rob Zombie stream. That's right, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Mark Warling says, Dave, worst experience in a department. I see that this is going to become a trend, right? Like, worst experience here, worst experience there. I have no idea what my worst experience was in a department store. I'll have to think about that. Maybe that'll be a future video where I just start doing worst experiences from shit. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. 5 more minutes, ladies and germs. 5 more minutes. And then we'll call it a day. How many times did she actually kick your chair? Damn, Dave, you're a badass. Very intimidating. No, well, I would probably say 6 or 7 times. Like, just like, you know, like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, you know? And I was already feeling angry because there were the kind of people that were like, oh, I don't know. Oh, and it's kind of like, shut up. Like, shut up. You know how I'm sure you guys have it in the States. Whether it's at AMC or wherever you go, where you'll have like a message that comes on the screen that says, you know, please no talking during the movie, turn off your phones, whatever it is. Well, we have that up here too, right? Our theater chain up here is called Cineplex. That's like our AMC, you know, the big one up here. And my buddy actually is the voice of all the etiquette ads, right? You know, make sure you blah, blah, don't do this, you know, don't be a Tommy texter, right? You know, and I told him one time, I said, look, really at the end of the day, we should just get rid of this Tommy Texter, Susie Seat Kicker, Harvey Hogg, and all that kind of shit. All these nice, you know, please turn off your phone and let everyone enjoy the show. We should get rid of that and have me come on the screen, or even him. But somebody should come on the screen and be like, hey, movie's about to start. So it's time for you to shut the fuck up. Enjoy the show. That is literally what I think they should do. That is what I think they should do. What do you guys think? Do you know how hilarious that would be? And how everybody would be like, I guess it's time to shut the fuck up. Seriously, that'd be awesome. Super chat from Jim D. Thank you, Jim. Much appreciated. Dave, do you recall the very first time you watched Halloween 78? I first saw it Halloween night, 1987, after a night of trick-or-treating. Didn't sleep for 2 days. I don't recall specifically the night or the very first time I watched Halloween. I definitely know it was when I was living in Bolton, Ontario, which is just a little town north of Toronto. That's where I lived from the time I was 0, the time I was born, till I was about 10. So I definitely know it would have been in the early 80s at that point. I was probably, 6, 7. But I can tell you that it was my older brother, Neil, that got me into Halloween. And the reason why he was into Halloween is because it was the first horror movie that he ever watched that apparently never gave him nightmares. He watched Freddy, gave him nightmares. He watched, Friday the 13th, gave him nightmares. Still liked the movies, but Halloween was the one that was like, it didn't give me nightmares. And he loved the mask, and he loved the theme and the music and the atmosphere, and the fact that it didn't give him nightmares was just bonus. It was like, wow, it was so cool, right? So he was the one that definitely gave me he was the one that definitely opened the door for me into Halloween, is what I'm trying to say. But I can't specifically remember it. Would have been probably 1985, 86, maybe, somewhere in there. Let me see here. A couple more minutes. I talked a little bit there. This is it. Couple more minutes to get your questions in, ladies and germs. Liam Fisher says, 2002 British action horror Dog Soldiers. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? That is directed by the same guy that directed The Descent. Am I correct? I have seen that movie, and I liked it. I didn't like it as much as The Descent, but I liked it. I thought it was all right. I love The Descent. I gotta admit, I'm a little biased too. The Descent was the first movie trailer I ever did. The first movie trailer voiceover I ever did was for The Descent, and that is on my channel. And I did one for The Crazies as well, back around that time, and I've been searching my archives to find The Crazies, because there was a TV spot I did for The Crazies, and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I've got it somewhere. I gotta find it. Michael Martinez says, great chat as usual, Dave. Thanks. Hey, no problem, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats and supporting the channel. Even if you don't contribute through the super chats, you're supporting the channel anyway by tuning in and continuing to be a part of this McRae movement. The McRage, we're taking over the world, folks. We're taking over the world. I think you guys are awesome. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday night and your weekend. I will call it a day because obviously it is 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and all the questions. Yeah, I think you guys are awesome. So I will talk to you guys soon. I don't know if I'll have another video. I might. It depends what happens. I got a few ideas, and of course, I'm working hard on that sequel idea for Halloween 2019. The sequel idea to Halloween 2018. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know what I'm gonna get up this weekend. Depends what drops. But I got a few ideas in the bag. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But hey, two dudes and some bullshit. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. My thoughts and Tony's as well. But my thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, baby. Tune in. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll talk to you guys soon. In the meantime and in between time,